There are differences, big differences, when you have a real goalkeeper who performs miracles and when you have a goalkeeper who makes mistakes. The difference between Maignan and Sommer is substantial. It's huge. Milan wins the derby and celebrates. Milan gets the game plan right, stays on their feet in the first half because Maignan is phenomenal, not knowing that he would be even more phenomenal later by saving Calhanoglu's penalty. There's not much to say, Allegri. He prepared it according to the team's characteristics. On the eve of the match, people were saying that Inter might have a stronger, more competitive squad, but these are Allegri's kind of games. Hold out for the first half hour, maybe for a whole half, which is what Milan did, creating little in the first half except for one situation with a curling shot from Pulisic. But then the game plan takes off because the others are a bit foggy, because the others think they're stronger and think they can find. The goal at any moment was clear, and Milan organized a counter-attack like true masters of the break. Sailmakers took the shot, finding and finishing with a well-placed diagonal that, honestly, Sommer should and could have dealt with differently. And Pulisic was right there, ready to tap it in and break the deadlock. The difference is substantial because Sommer is no stranger to these uncertainties, because Inter had tried to bring in another goalkeeper by signing Martinez, since the mistakes and indecision he shows in many situations make this a bitter night for Inter. This is their fourth defeat in the league, and while Allegri is outsmarting Chivu really needs to reflect on this run of results because honestly, not even halfway through the season, 4 defeats is not something you usually see from a team that wants to win the league and wants to win the Scudetto. Clearly, this is a somewhat different, rather unusual season. There are teams facing difficulties, going through periods of crisis, as happened to Napoli. But Milan is enjoying this night because they played it riding the wave of their obsessive tactical organization, which is what prepares you to strike when the moment comes. The first half was more in Inter's favor than Milan's, as I was saying, because Milan had studied this type of match, but probably something was missing in the repertoire and strategies that Allegri had prepared, like a few more counterattacks trying to hurt the opponent when spaces opened up. That only happened rarely because Inter maintained the right intensity. They could have scored early with Thuram, Maignan. They could have scored with Acerbi, hit the post, and could have scored again with Lautaro. And Maignan, who made another save and in any case brought stability to a defense that, in my opinion, had 2 excellent performers, both Pavlovic and Gabbia. Gabbia has improved tremendously by now. He's a leader. Pavlovic, regardless of the incident that affected him in the second half, played a match that, in my opinion, was up to the task, and Inter, as the game went on, became more and more nervous. The way they came onto the field in the second half was almost a bit with the attitude of someone who thought they might get lucky with an unfortunate episode because they didn't have the same reactivity, the same organization, the same clarity, the same intensity to really hurt Milan. In fact, before the episode of the goal that decided the result, there had honestly been very little. And then the incident with Pavlovic's stamp, the challenge, the penalty kick, it's a stroke of genius from Maignan, which, by the way, gives Calhanoglu a very bitter night as he misses only the second penalty of his career after the one, not this season, against Napoli. He had a perfect record, but Maignan is phenomenal. So I ask myself, I don't know what will happen in the future, but someone like Maignan, whom Milan rightly and commendably kept last summer when there was a chance he might leave because he hadn't renewed his contract, there was Chelsea, but then Milan decided to shut the door, just like the shutters Maignan regularly brings down. In my opinion, they should give Maignan a lifetime contract. Today, there are 2 goalkeepers in Serie A who do it all, both the pot and the lid. Svilar, even today in Cremona, did something incredible at 0-0, then secured the result at 1-0 with some sensational saves. Maignan and Svilar are by far the 2 goalkeepers who, even if you compare them with others around Europe, would be right at the very top. Inter conceded a goal and ended up strengthening Allegri's game plan, who could have found a few more opportunities on the counter-attack. Today he played very much in service of the team. He was involved in the build-up to the first goal, in restarting the play that then proved decisive, but above all, he kept things under control. After the penalty, missed, or if you prefer, saved by the goalkeeper, I think this time it should be classified as a goalkeeper's save rather than a mistake by the taker. Inter tried, they had already tried to make some changes with Chivu trying to spur on first Boni and then all the others he brought on. The midfield wasn't working even before because Çalhanoğlu, regardless of the penalty, didn't give Inter what he usually does. I liked Suzik and Barella fought hard, but for Inter this is a tremendous blow because it's true they're still up there. It's true that Milan's overtaking is only partial. It's true that the top is 3 points away, while Milan is 2 points behind, together with Napoli. But it's also true that 4 defeats, especially the way they happened, and to lose this match with the added weight of it being a derby, is something they'll have to get over quickly, and it won't be easy. What could Milan's prospects be? Certainly, as I've said in many other videos, Allegri has regained all the energy, mentality, desire, and strength to start over. He has conveyed to the team, and to be honest, I've already acknowledged this several times in the past, he has given the team back the pleasure of being a team. Regardless of whether you like it or not, this style of football is effective because it secures the defense and then allows you to strike at the first opportunity. If not the first, then the second. That's exactly what Milan did. So I don't know if they'll be contenders for the Scudetto or for the Champions League. It's such a unique and balanced league this year with such a tight table that anything can happen. But Milan has both the league and the Coppa Italia. They'll be resting every week while the others will only rest next week, and during all the European weeks while the others will be crossing paths, getting fired up, getting stressed, letting off steam or not in Champions League commitments that will be significant. A tough blow for Kivu because, I repeat, you had gotten over the first 2 defeats, the ones that had set off a few alarm bells. I'm referring to the loss against Udinese and then the defeat in Turin. You had bounced back well with a winning streak. You lost in Naples after playing an excellent first half, but you lost. You lost tonight after playing an excellent first half, but you lost. If not excellent, then at least decent. And this is the material that needs to be analyzed by those who want to. Matches last 90 minutes. If you have a bad half, you can't just fall apart at the first counterattack and leave the field like that. And above all, there's also an analysis that honestly needs to be made, and it's entirely in Allegri's favor. Inter, apart from the win at Roma, has struggled and failed to deliver against the big teams. Roma is a big team. They're at the top of the table alone, but Inter, aside from that win with Boni, has put together a collection of unfinished business. This is the third, Juventus, Napoli, and today the derby against Milan. Is this all just a stroke of luck for Gasperini? A sparkling Roma, a spectacular Roma, a Roma that's really Gasperini's trademark in some of the plays, including, for example, the one that led to Wesley's goal, a particularly spot-on and well-chosen signing. It occurs to me that if they don't make a mistake with the striker signing in January, I think Roma could really have some fun, taking advantage of the other team's slip-ups, having increasingly absorbed Gianpiero Gasperini's philosophy, which deserves a mention. Day by day throughout the entire week since he arrived, he has exponentially improved Roma. But the coming days and hours will be pure joy for Milan and certainly filled with anxiety, disappointment, and frustration for others. Because losing a derby like this stays in your head. Renew Maignan contract, give him a lifetime deal. Allegri did well to keep him, but with a goalkeeper like Maignan, as my friends used to say, you can't make mistakes. The goalkeeper, the central defender, the playmaker, and the striker. With Maignan, you got the striker right too, not just the goalkeeper. Because when Maignan makes a save, it's like he scores a goal. So I believe that Milan has a goalkeeper who's good at scoring goals, so a goalkeeper who becomes a striker. As for the other results of the day, for Lazio, these are extremely valuable points. Every point Sarri gets is, in my opinion, precious. 18 points is not a small amount considering everything that's happened. They played a very good match despite the injuries, with the transfer market blocked and no fans in the stadium. I think it also takes the spirit of endurance from a coach to handle all these things and keep earning points, but that's a topic I might develop and we might develop on another occasion. Of course, I'm waiting for your opinions. Write to me, write to us, leave your comments. The lifetime pension for Mignano, I would grant it to him tomorrow morning. Have a good day.